You're listening to Ricky and Jimmy on Relationships, the show where we uncover the thoughts and behaviors that are sabotaging your relationship and what you can do about it. Jimmy and I are passionate about sharing the ways that imperfect partners like you and I can shift unhealthy relational dynamics and create closeness. So welcome. Drop your defenses and open your heart, eyes, and ears. Let's learn how to be the best partner we can be together. Welcome back. This is Ricky and Jimmy, and today we have a treat for you guys. Jimmy had the idea of us to talk for an hour about our dating hall of shame moments. And I think you guys are going to really like them. I hope. They were hard for me to dredge up from my past, so hopefully they'll be good entertainment fodder.
Yeah, I don't think I've thought about this stuff for a while, but Ricky and I were just kind of I don't know, we were getting comfortable enough with each other to where we were starting to think back on, like, can you believe, like, some of the things that we did in the past? And then we were like, you know what, we should, and I said, I'm going to stop you right there. Why don't we just make a whole episode about like all of our embarrassing dating moments? So
these are new to us too. Jimmy hasn't revealed any of these to me. I don't know what's coming. I'm kind of excited. I hope, I don't mean to hope this, but I kind of hope that you're like a comparable level of train wreck that I was back in my younger days, because this is going to really be embarrassing if you weren't. If you're like, oh, one time I spilled coffee on somebody, and that's like your whole story, I'm going to be like, get out of here, Jimmy.
I know. I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, I tried to remember everything I could. I've probably suppressed a lot, but but I think that people will resonate with this only because we all have those kind of stories, and I hope that
we must.
We must, and I'm sure mine won't be. I wish mine were funnier. I wish I had, I wish I could lie and make these just hilarious, but they're
some
funny
of them will
and
be sad, for sure.
Yeah,
some of them will.
Yeah, I look back and most of them are sad, but you know what? I can find humor. I can find humor in the sadness. So,
or we can try to make them funny. How about that?
Yeah, I'm going to try to. So, I hope that you enjoy us reliving some of our just embarrassing moments, and I'm sure you'll resonate with some of them. Thinking, "Yep, I remember doing the same thing." So,
nice. Well, did you go chronological? I did.
Yeah, I tried to.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. You did too. Where does yours start? Mine starts at like 17. So. I started pretty young.
Yes, 16, yeah.
Well, if you were younger, you should start then. You go first. 16-year-old. And hopefully, let's just have a moment here, just a little moment of silence for young Ricky and young Jimmy doing the best they can, right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to rip on her, but she made some mistakes, and I'm sure you did too, right?
Yes, 100%. So here's the only problem with this is that we would never want to say anything bad. Like, I do not think that my girlfriend from high school is listening to this. I just don't think she is. But if somehow, we both would never want to, what's the word I'm looking for, demean or belittle, or like, we might talk about some stuff that's embarrassing that we did, but we also might talk about, like, they weren't also the right partner for us, and we don't want to make them out to be the enemy ever. So,
okay, I'm going to throw a disclaimer out then. A couple of my stories, we've got some villains here, but I think I've hid their identity. They could be listening. I want to apologize ahead of time. If you're my ex-boyfriend and you're listening to this, I don't blame you for what went down any more than I blame myself. We were probably both fools and not knowing what we were getting into.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, but like, hopefully it'll make a good story. So
yeah,
that's what you get for dating me, right? Okay. So
I'm 16 years old. So I get my first girlfriend, which was obviously, fantastic. Mm-hmm. The only thing I remember about my first, I have a terrible memory. I have to apologize ahead of time. Here's what I remember about my first girlfriend, besides the fact that it was just wonderful in the beginning, and it's your first love. She was my first love.
Aw.
We dated for junior and senior year, and what I remember about that relationship, it was very up and down. It was very just a little bit chaotic. We were both kind of like unhealed souls, just wounded, freshly
broken. You guys were freshly broken, Jimmy.
Yeah. She absolutely had some wounds, and obviously I did too, that I wasn't aware of. long story short, I remember as a young kid, like even like once the limerent state wore off, we're a year into this thing. And I remember thinking, I don't see myself marrying this person. And that's a silly thing to say at 17 years old. So I don't mean to say that I was like... But we do have those
thoughts. I don't think you need to...
Yeah.
I don't think you need to clarify.
Thank you.
We have those thoughts as 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
We do. Even though it's silly looking back,
Yeah. And I guess what I meant is when I would say that to myself, it was more of like if I had to choose, like, would you marry this person or not? I was like, I don't want to marry this person. Now here's the problem. And you'll see this as an overarching theme in my story. I felt like I couldn't see myself marrying this person. And yet I still, if someone said, well, are you going to like get out of the relationship? There was no chance. Like there was nothing in my mind that ever hinted or like pushed me towards like, you should break up with her. It was just we never broke up. It wasn't like we were breaking up and then getting back together. Yeah. So
like it's a no from me, dog, but I'm still here for like indefinitely.
That's
until
literally
you do
my whole
something
story.
about it.
So just a quick caveat or just a quick disclaimer for everybody. Most people, I know you wish that I was avoidant attachment because Ricky's anxious. She's previously anxious attachment. Yeah. She's healed anxious attachment, I guess you should say.
Earn secure. That's a...
I'm sorry, earn secure.
Earn secure. That's got it.
Did you catch that? Is that from your? Did you put that?
I did not coin that. That's an actual term. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
We can say you made it up. Okay, so I'm also anxious attachment, which I learned very later in just
after all of these things.
My marriage. Yeah. So I know you wish I was avoidant attachment. I'm sorry. I wish I was too, but I'm not. So I'm anxious attachment. And that for me, like when I look back on that, it was just classic anxious attachment rearing its ugly head where I was like, I don't feel fulfilled in this relationship, but there's no way I'm leaving it. So here's one funny story. So things eventually just got bad enough because I think that mentally I had kind of pulled out of this relationship. I mean, I wasn't like, if you don't have the mindset of like you really seeing it going anywhere, then the other partner's going to pick up on that. And eventually the summer before college, she broke it off with me and immediately got with somebody else, which was obviously devastating. However, before she broke it off, we were leaving for college in like 3 months. So there was a lot of prep. There was a lot of stuff that needed to get done. So we were both moving to the same college. We were both moving to Gainesville for University of Florida, and we were deciding where to live. Not together. We were separately deciding like, where are you going to live? Where are you going to live? And I remember right before summer started, she was like, well, I want to live in your same neighborhood. And from my standpoint, I was like, well, I don't think that's a good idea just because, I mean, kind of in my mindset, like, yeah, I didn't see this relationship really going anywhere, but I wasn't going to do anything to end it. And so I was just like, I just don't know if that's like a great idea. Cause that's a year from now. Like we would be living in the same complex a year from now. She's like, don't worry about it. And then not a month later, she breaks up with me, gets with a new guy. And then I'm obviously crushed, which is another interesting part of the story.
Yeah,
like,
it is interesting
that
you'd be crushed about somebody you weren't super
100% crushed.
About
I mean, crushed
future,
as in like I'm a pretty upbeat guy, and most people can tell that I don't struggle with depression, even though some people that are jovial and they still struggle with depression.
Sure,
I don't struggle with depression, but I was depressed for that 3 or 4 month period after somebody breaks up with you. And the only end of the story is she ended up she had already signed the lease to move into my same complex.
No.
I could see her from my window. I could see her apartment building from my window. I could see her car. Yeah. And I could see when her new boyfriend that she dumped for because he would stay over. I could see his car.
Shoot.
And
that makes for some healing. Yeah. That's
exactly.
That's hard.
It was terrible. It was terrible, Ricky. anyways.
And that was your first big love. That was your introduction into this is love, Jimmy. Get ready. You have a whole life of this coming up. Oh, man.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to make this about one-upping, but I'm pretty sure I'll be based on that story, I will be a bigger train wreck than you for sure. So I want to say, I actually kind of like one of the big deciding factors in the place that I went to college was my high school boyfriend who went there a year ahead of me.
Okay.
And it's not like we were going to get back together, but I know what you mean. I like really wanted to be at the same place as him, even though we had already split up. And that makes me so sad to think about.
That is so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, he lived nowhere near me on campus, so I think I saw him twice my entire freshman year. It was like not a big deal.
Still scary though, right? When you see, when you actually
yes, it was
them,
alarming. Like, yeah, it was like, oh, is this the moment where we're getting back together? And then it was like, wait, no, we're absolutely not, because he broke up with me like a year and a half ago. So,
yeah, even though I could see her from my window, we didn't interact. Obviously.
No.
Because, well, not obviously. Some people interact, but we didn't.
Some people do.
And so, but occasionally, like randomly, you know, that there'd be that moment where we'd both pull in together and we'd both get out of the car, and I'd have to be like, oh gosh. So anyways, that was hard.
Yeah,
that was really
rough.
hard.
That's rough.
Go on. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Should I just launch into a couple of some of them are kind of more bullet pointy, so we can. I have more than you, so I'll just make mine a little short.
I'm fascinated. Yep.
In one of my very first relationships, this is teenage Ricky, I let a boyfriend throw jewelry out the car window that a previous boyfriend had given me. Like I thought that was a good idea. He's like, "Oh, I see you have a bracelet on today," and I was like, "Oh yeah, my ex-boyfriend so and so gave that to me," and he's like, "You should give that to me, and we're destroying it." And I was like, this is a great idea. And I gave it to him, and he threw it out the window on the freeway. And I still think about that sometimes. I liked that bracelet, you know? But like, that seemed like a normal thing to teenage me. Okay.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact, it sounds a little bit, it almost sounds like, like I could see that being in some sort of a romantic movie, and people could see that as like, oh, like,
oh, that's
when
romantic.
Really it's like controlling, or like
it was super controlling. It was not romantic at all. Like maybe 16-year-old me thought it was romantic, but looking back, I'm like, that's like psycho jealousy, like not okay. Right.
It's foreshadowing. It's like perfect foreshadowing for
it is excellent
his controlling behavior.
Yeah. So that
I
relationship
love these, by the way.
didn't work clearly. Oh, good. All right. I'll hit you with another short one then too.
I would love that.
I think I was like 18 here. I was ghosted after a particularly lovely and romantic date with a guy that I'd had a crush on for a couple years. So to an 18-year-old, that's a big deal. Like, yes, I finally got a date with this guy.
Yeah.
And ghosted like nothing. After this wonderful evening, romantic walk and all the lights, it was great. Absolutely nothing. I called him no fewer than 13 times the next day. It was 10 years before he contacted me again, when I was married with an infant. So,
oh my.
Clearly I was not interested then, but it's like, I think back, I can still remember like sitting on my floor in my bedroom with like my corded phone, because I'm super old, you know, like just dialing him over and over again. Like clearly he just didn't hear the phone call, you know, if I just keep calling, my gosh. That. He was ignoring my calls and thought I was a complete crazy person, I'm sure.
Can I tell you one of my call stories? I have a couple, because if any other
of course you do. Yeah.
If any other anxious hearts are watching, you have some sort of story about where you just blast texted somebody, or you just called them over and over.
Phones are our worst enemy.
And you're embarrassed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was this girl that we were dating. I don't know if we were serious. Now, I'm not from the generation today where it's like you're like in a situationship for a year. Like, no, we had gone on like 3 dates. So at that point, you're not like official, but you're like
you're pretty much official. Yeah.
And I wasn't. You're getting official. So my point is that we weren't official yet, but we were having a great time together. And she said these were her words. She said, I don't always have my phone on me. So if you need me, like sometimes my phone is upstairs and I'm downstairs, or I usually just leave my phone in my room. I don't have it on me. So if you need me, just call. And if I don't pick up, like, just call again. And like, or call like 5 minutes later.
She told you
to
do that.
She told me to do that.
Okay.
And so then fast forward 3 dates later or whatever, we had, I don't even remember at this point, something went wrong in the relationship. And I went into a panic, and I probably called her. I probably just called her like, 15 times, just called her. And then called her. Because, like, in my mind, like, no, she's cool with this.
Yeah.
And she finally...
I'm so glad you had that. Thank you for saying that. That makes me feel so much better.
Answered, and she was like, you're freaking me out, and I think we need to take a break. And at that moment, if you're no, you told me I could do this. Like, you told me. I'm not freaking out. I'm doing what you told me to do.
I'm not, you are. Yeah. Oh,
and she was like, I still think we should take a break. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to, I'm going to go die now because.
Yeah.
So that's one of my call stories.
One
I'll
of
give
the
you more
call
later.
stories. I love it. Okay. There'll be more coming. So this is not a call story. This is the good old days, like 2005. I somehow managed to score a coffee date with this gorgeous upperclassman. So I'm like a freshman in college, and he was a senior, and he was very good looking, and I have no idea what he was doing, interested in nerdy little me. So he asks me out on this coffee date. I get to this date, and I'm just sitting here like starry-eyed across the table from him as he tells funny, clever story after story. And finally he's like, I've been talking too much about myself. What's your story, Ricky? And I swear to God, if he hadn't have just said my name, I wouldn't have been able to remember it. I sat there like a cartoon character with my mouth going open. And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, you don't know anything about yourself? And I was like, yeah, no, not really. And the date ended like right there. Like I'm telling you, there was like 60 seconds more of date after that before he knew.
Are you
I was
serious?
like, he was like, well, I just completely and utterly choked. I could not recover. The date was over.
Like, this is not what I'm looking for.
Yeah. He did not call back for a second date. And sometimes I think about that guy and I wonder what his experience of that date must have been like. Like,
That's
I don't know.
So funny.
Yeah, I've been on dates with people who have catastrophically blown it before, but to be in that seat, I have. Yeah, and I felt so much pity for them.
I feel like I missed out on a catastrophic.
Have you not done that? Oh man, No. I went on a date with a guy who, at the end of the date, he walks me back to my car. And I'm not supposed to be talking about situations where I didn't blow it, but here's one where somebody else did. He walks me back to my car, and he gets the door for me, and he goes, I blew it, didn't I? That was the worst date ever. And I was
gosh.
I'm like honest to a fault. I was like,
are you serious?
No, but like, yeah, kind of. Yeah, because he really did. It was another one of those situations where he like...
Give me the quick recap. Like, what do you remember about him blowing?
It's the same thing. He hadn't said anything about himself, or when he did, he was just so nervous he couldn't even talk. And it was just like, like I'm not interested at all.
And that was a turnoff for you.
Oh my gosh, it was a huge turnoff. I didn't want a shy guy. I wanted a confident guy,
Yes.
And even gorgeous upperclassmen that I went on a date with, he didn't want some girl that just thought she was lucky to be sitting at the table with him.
That's
she wanted somebody who knew anything about herself at all that she could share. That was so embarrassing. Yeah.
Yes, that is so interesting.
And as long as we're pulling attachment theory into it, probably another thing too, we worry that the things about ourselves that we should be proud of and sharing with other people will be a turnoff. So when we're looking at somebody, I already had them fully hoisted up on a pedestal, was not ready to show them what a lowly, serf I was that was not worthy to be sharing the same table.
That's so true. That jogged my memory to where I think I blew it on a date. And I didn't blow very many dates, to be honest with you, because like I'm pretty good at just like, I was full on anxious heart. Like I watched this TikTok from this girl. I can't remember her name, or I promise I'd give you credit. But she posts these hilarious little short things, and she goes, she said, sometimes people say that they like my personality, and I'm like, well, that's good because it's yours. Because like I just
I know I can relate to that.
And I'm like, that's so true. I'm like, if I'm on a date with somebody that I really like I'm just essentially just mirroring them. But to that point, so I went out with this girl that I had a huge crush on, She was super sarcastic, super funny, and just like definitely very pretty. So I just felt I felt insecure. I felt like I really want this girl to like me.
Intimidated.
Intimidated. She was a little older than me, so I was definitely intimidated. And I did the best I could. We went out on like 2 dates, and I thought after the second date, I said, I need to lock this down. Like the date went seemingly for me, it went well. So in my mind, if you want to like lock it down on the second date, then you need to try to kiss them.
Right. That's a universal rule, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty modest. Like I never kiss on the first date. Today's world, people are like, I'm sorry, Oh,
no, we're talking about the golden days here. Just for anybody who's listening, this is a good 20 years ago.
That was just my own personal. I made a lot of mistakes when it came to falling for people too quickly, but for some reason, I never kissed on the first date. I don't know why. It's just the way it just never seemed logical to me, so I never did it. That's not to say I didn't kiss on the second date. So, no, I'm just, I'm just kidding.
You've got some morals.
So we had a great date, and I said, unfortunately, I'm terrified, that it's always terrifying when you have to make the first move and it's the first kiss between you and yada, yada.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I make this terrible mistake. I walk her to the car, and I said, so there's multiple schools of thought of like how to go about kissing a girl, and some of them are more wrong than others, but
yeah, for sure.
I went with the very conservative route, and I said, this sounds so cringy. Like even though this is the right thing to do, quote unquote, I'm sure there's still tons of women that are like, don't ever do that. I said, would you mind if I kissed you?
Jimmy, wait, some women love that. I just want to say she didn't. Oh, no. Okay, I just want to reassure the men listening to this and the women who, some women are really into that. But it's okay, this one wasn't. Continue.
This one wasn't. To be honest with you, I just think that she, I don't know. I'm not going to say that she led me along, because when you go out on a second date with somebody, like it's kind of like interviewing for a job. You bring somebody back in for a second interview, and it went okay, but you're like, this person isn't the one for this company.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. That person can't be like, you led me on. Like, well, no, we didn't. Just because you got back for a second interview doesn't mean we led you on. So she pretty much said, essentially, like, I just like you as a friend. Which is something you never want to hear right after you said, would you mind if I kissed you? That's never what you want to hear.
Oh, ouch.
So you don't kiss your friends? I'm confused.
You could try.
No.
We could start.
She's like, no, I don't. The only problem was I worked with her, so I had to see her.
Oh no.
That was rough.
Oh.
Needless to say that, luckily, that blew over relatively fast. That just reminded me of that
we'll probably have some more moments like that throughout.
Yeah. Okay, hit me with another one.
Okay, this one's not cringy. There's a different word for it. I'm not going to use the word. It's bad though. Brace yourselves, folks. Okay. Hopefully my mom's not listening to this one. A man hid me in his bathroom while I listened to him try to sweet talk another lady who thought that she was also his girlfriend. She saw my very girly car parked in his driveway. Jimmy, I did not break things off with this fellow. He somehow sweet talked her out of there, knowing there was someone else there. And this guy continued to see both of us after that. Like, I don't know how he found 2 women that were like me, but both of us were like, I don't even care that this guy is a complete dog, right? And like, I know in the beginning you said we don't want to villainize anybody, but that's like villain behavior for sure. I was with the villain for a while. That is horrible.
The best thing I've ever heard. I wish that had happened to me.
It was like a movie. It was like a movie.
Yes.
She knew I was in there. I knew she was out there.
Wait, hold on. She knew you were there?
She knew I was there. There was a girl's car in his driveway, and the bathroom door was closed and locked, and it was like, oh my goodness.
She's in there.
I know she's in there. Gosh. It was something out of a movie. It's like the trashiest thing I've ever done.
And then somehow she leaves.
Somehow he sweet talked her into leaving.
And then he sweet talked to you into being
and then he sweet talked me into staying. Yeah.
He's like, she's gone. Don't even worry about her.
I think his exact words were, she's crazy and she doesn't know what she's talking about. Yeah, and it's been over for a really long time. And I believed him. So
yes.
Cool, Ricky.
Okay. But you're telling me that you kept seeing him.
I kept seeing him after that.
But you also knew that he was seeing her?
I let myself believe that he was not. You know what I mean? But now looking back,
all the red flags were there. Yeah.
All the red flags were there. But now looking back as a very old lady, I'm like, what was I thinking? He was absolutely actively seeing that girl.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is the power of.
That's bad, isn't it? Yeah.
It's just, there's so much, like, I don't mean to dog on us anxious.
No, that was
folks.
probably my lowest moment. So you can dog on anybody in this situation.
I think if that was your lowest, I think that's great. I mean, I think you did good.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
I guess all I'm saying is, like, we're so susceptible, and it's not just anxious hearts. It's just like anybody who has some unhealed trauma.
We believe what we want to in those moments.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
we are so good at just like, I don't know, what's the word that I'm looking for when you're like, just
deceiving ourselves.
You're like, you're just deception. It's pure deception, or just believing in, like, or hoping. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is when you're.
I think what you're trying to get at is, I really truly thought that I was special to this guy. You know what I mean? And that like, clearly she's the one who's not special to him, and
we're dating their potential is like what I'm trying to say. Like we're thinking like eventually this might get better. Yeah,
it did not. Spoiler alert, it absolutely did not. It was a flaming fireball the entire time.
That's hilarious.
That was 20. 20 was rough. That was
yeah. Okay, let me give you a 20. You want me to give you a 20?
I dated a girl.
I don't like to I shouldn't give out ages, because like, what if God forbid they're listening, they're like, oh wait, I'm that girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well,
ages,
I dated a girl.
Or we'll fudge the ages.
Exactly. I dated a girl when I was 20. This was my next real girlfriend after the first one. Mm-hmm. So I took a tiny break, but dated a girl, and she was kind of the opposite of me when it came to, like, I'm just, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit over considerate and I'm definitely thinking about, your needs and what's going on with you.
Sure.
And she was just very dismissive, it was just, but here's the craziest thing. Like, regardless of how dismissive she was, like I said, like, just like with the first one, I never, ever considered ending it. Never.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was never a thought. If I was like, I don't know, I didn't do very much complaining about her, but if I did, if people are like, do you think that this is the right relationship for you? I'd be like, I don't know, but
it doesn't matter. I just want them to like me, and that's,
She ended up breaking up with me, and that destroyed me. I mean, I remember. Yeah. Let me tell you how embarrassing this was. Okay. So she broke up with me, and then I was such a mess. Like, I was a puddle. Mm-hmm. And so she was just like, so she just like put on a movie, and like, we just like watched a movie together, because I don't think she knew what to do. Like, I don't think she had encountered someone just as sensitive, and like, I wasn't really talking to her anymore. She was just like, she told me that it was over, and I started crying, and she kind of just like said everything she needed to say, and then I probably assumed that I would get up and leave.
Yeah, but you didn't, so she put a movie on. Well, I might as well entertain him.
I just didn't leave. Like, I didn't know how to leave this situation. I was like, this can't be.
Dang.
And that's like the cognitive dissonance, where I'm just like, but you didn't really feel fulfilled in this relationship. Like, shouldn't you be kind of grateful that it's ending? No, I'm not grateful. My whole world is shattered now. And so I literally remember just sitting there sobbing. And then I remember her kind of like putting her arm on my back, like, it's going to be okay. I think we had dated for like 8 months, which is a long time, but not a long time also. So like,
right.
So, she's kind of like, there, like, it's not like we're married,
Right.
And then eventually she put a movie on because I wasn't leaving.
Yeah. Was it at least a good one? Do you remember what movie it was, or were you in a fog?
It was, I don't remember the title. It was the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's like
good start.
on an island. It's not Shutter
Island.
No, it's not Shutter Island.
Oh,
it's
man,
the one where he's like in like Thailand or something. It's another island.
Oh, the beach.
It's a beautiful
Beaches.
The beach. It was the beach.
Yeah, the beach. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about it
because I
was
good taste in movies. So.
Traumatized, Ricky. I wasn't watching the movie. I was sobbing.
Give that one a rewatch if you want, if you will, because that's a good one.
Ricky, I would probably watch that movie and just start crying.
No, it'd be triggered. Yeah,
I'd be like, "What's happening to me?"
You're 20 all over again.
Exactly. Okay.
That reminds me of a guy, same time period. We dated for like 3 months, so like nothing. Super short relationship.
Perfect.
And I realized this was like a light bulb moment for me at that age. I was like, I don't really like this guy. Like and I thought, you know what? I don't want to date this guy anymore. And I was like so excited. I didn't know I had that kind of power. I could just end a relationship that I wasn't interested in. So I called him and I was like, hey, I don't think this is working. Like, I don't mean to break your heart or anything, but we've only been dating a little while. And he was like, well, I think we're great. I think you're mistaken. He convinced me to stay with him. Dude broke up with me a month later at 3 a.m. over the phone. He called me at 3 a.m. and was like, this is done. Sorry, bye, click. I was like,
wow.
So that was my first experience trying to break up with somebody. But that was me growing into the mindset like, wait a second, I don't have to date somebody. I don't have to keep dating them if it's like really unfulfilling.
That is hilarious.
I think he just didn't want to be dumped in retrospect.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he didn't really like me that much either. It was a really very mediocre relationship across the board. And
you were impressionable, or you were like he could convince you, like you're
convincible. I was so easy to convince. Yeah, I folded a house of cards. Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you about the only girl that I've ever broken up with. Okay, so I dated this girl, and it was the same type of situation. It's about 3 months, and unlike the other ones, she was not dismissive, extremely thoughtful of like what what my thoughts and what my needs and my whatever. She was, I mean, she was all in.
That's a first for you at this point,
first for me,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? That wasn't very attractive, Ricky. And
I am shocked, Jimmy. That's I get it. I've been there. Yeah. Oh no.
She was literally the perfect girlfriend on paper. Like on paper, she was perfect. She would have been the type that if you ever had anything like, hey, like, can we talk about this, or can we like tweak this in our relationship? She would have been like, absolutely, like, but she wasn't. But she wasn't. Yeah, but she wasn't like weird about it. She wasn't like clingy or anything.
Sure.
She was just like a normal person. Like
she was a secure attacher.
Yeah,
yeah, probably.
And that was
And that's disgusting. Yeah. Just to be blunt, I've been there. It's if you're very firmly in your insecure patterning, those secure attachers are like, "What are you doing?
No.
I don't want any part of this." Yeah.
It's not.
It's very sad.
It's so sad. It's so sad. And so I quickly realized, 3 months in, like, this isn't working. I'm just not attracted to her. Like like I was before, where I thought I was.
Isn't that nuts? Yeah. It's the attraction that takes the hit. The word that I would always use was I would feel repulsed. And I hate to say that.
100%.
But it didn't
100%.
matter if the guy was good looking or not. Like, their emotional availability was like, it was the biggest turnoff I could possibly imagine. And it makes me so sad for my young self that was
truly shows how unhealed I was. So Katie, she's not listening, but if you're listening, you were a wonderful woman. Yeah.
A little call out. That's nice.
Yeah. She's not listening. Don't worry. So I had to break up with her. And when I say I had to break up with her, I mean, I had to break up with her because she was repulsing me.
Right. Unfortunately. But yes.
Unfortunately. She didn't do anything wrong. She did everything right. Yeah. And so I decided I'm going to break up with her. The problem is, Ricky, that I have never done that before, and I am an extreme people pleaser. So, contrast
How does a people pleaser go about breaking up with someone? That's
very difficultly.
Yeah,
so,
difficultly.
I'm not a writer. So
it's all right.
So I contrast to the previous story where I was broken up with and sobbing. Now I had to do the breaking up with, and I remember I was so scared, and she was so happy to see me, and she just thought this was a normal evening, and I knew in my head, like, I'm not leaving this house unless I break up.
But then you pulled out a rented copy of The Beach, and she just knew, it was over.
She just knew. And so I said, because I'm such a coward, Ricky, I'm such a coward. I said, I don't think I'm ready to see anyone. I don't think I'm ready. Oh,
that's the classic coward, letting someone down easy. Yeah.
And she totally did not. She could have let me off the hook. She could have been like, okay, like whatever. But instead she was just like, well, you don't have to like lie to me. You can like tell me if something, because she's secure. She's like,
wow, I was going to say, that sounds even more secure
like,
than,
tell me if tell me if I did anything wrong, or tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's not you at all. I'm like, it's not
you. Couldn't do it.
It's clearly not. I was like, I just don't want to like see anyone. Yeah. And needless to say, it was so bad that I don't remember how we got from there, like, to me telling her that it's not her, but like she ended up consoling me. She was like, it's okay.
Because she's
it's
secure.
Okay. Like
she knew everything would be fine. And
I was like, no, I'm like crying. I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm like, it's not you.
No, I love it.
And needless to say, I left and I felt this colossal weight off my shoulders just because anyways.
It's done.
But
I like it.
Still crazy. That's the only person I've ever broken up with, and it was still terrible.
Wow. Well, it sounds like it went pretty well.
It was tragic.
Let's see. Yeah, I feel like it's my turn. After a few months, I told my boyfriend that I was in love with him, and instead of saying it back, he said, "Why don't you sleep on that?" And I was like, well, I've been sleeping on that for like 3 months. I'm pretty sure I'm in love with you.
And he slept on that.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, okay, thanks. And that's, I think it took him another month or two before he threw it back to me. But I was like, that's the weirdest answer I've ever gotten.
Of course, obviously.
Of course I waited, because I figured it was just a matter of time. And no, that's
just a matter of time.
No, secure Ricky would probably, I don't know. I understand people moving at different rates, but at the same time, like after 3 months of like extensive togetherness, like I was he was not in love with me. So
I think that's so funny. I don't want to ask you to talk about something that you don't want to, but was it similar for Chris? Did you tell him?
Oh my
you obviously
God.
told him first.
Yeah, I did. I definitely told him first. See, okay, that's jumping down to the later
I'm
stuff.
sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay.
No,
it's okay.
No.
I can
we'll
jump
come back
a little.
to it. We'll come
Let
back
me
to
scroll
it.
down.
No, we'll come back to it. Because Chris we probably have a lot on Chris, so.
I don't actually. I mean, I
good.
know that I've got like lots of dating Hall of Shame stuff with him, but because he might actually listen to this, I didn't know if I wanted to drag him.
Completely doubtful. Chris, if you're listening, I'll pay you $10. Guarantee you don't listen to this.
No, that's you just, okay. He's not listening. You're right. Let me see. Let's see. I'm scrolling down because I wrote these down. Okay. This one was horrible. This is cringy for me.
Okay.
I'd been seeing this guy like 7 months probably, which is a hot minute. That's a while. I was like, and we did not put a label on it because this was like not 20 years ago. This was like more recent than I'd like to admit. Gross. And I was like, and we texted a lot, me and this guy. And I texted him, come on, I'm your girlfriend and we both know it. You should probably just say that. Yeah. And he did not answer in the affirmative. And I continued seeing him.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, I like tried to force him to admit that I was his girlfriend, which is not the recommended way to go about it.
No, but you didn't do it in the worst way. I mean, gosh.
I think there are definitely worse ways, but it was not effective. So
you really set him up for success, and he still failed. I mean, it's just
gosh.
Oh
well, hey, thank you. That makes me feel better. I guess there could have been like a good way to respond.
What is he hoping for? Like, I don't understand the culture today and like not wanting to call your girlfriend. I just don't understand it. Like,
well,
what are all these guys doing?
Back when you said you were talking about a previous relationship of yours where you were like, I didn't want to marry this girl and I knew it, right? Like, I thought that's probably this guy that I'm talking about. I was not forever material for him, but he was not ready to let go of me. So unlabeled relationship, right?
Yeah.
And I wish... Yeah.
Sorry.
And I wish that I had better standards back then, because I knew for sure I didn't want to be in an unlabeled relationship. I should have been like, this is where I exit, stage left. No
I guess this is my exit.
Yeah, I really should have, but I didn't. I couldn't.
Well, at the time we can't.
Yeah.
We can.
Right. We can, but I couldn't. I couldn't see myself leaving him. It was, oh man.
No, yeah. I never ever even thought, and that comes up so many times. That comes up so many times where I look back and go, why did you, like, what was wrong with you? And I'm like, oh, I know what's wrong with you. You're like, you have a fear of abandonment, even though you're, one, you're abandoning yourself in this relationship, but two, you're terrified that they're going to leave you, even though they're not even really here with them.
You. Yeah. And that too. You're not even that into them. And I mean, I was, but I wasn't happy,
What type of unhealed person is terrified to lose someone they don't really even want to be with? I mean, that is a next level type of
next level.
unhealed.
And that was us. We were next level.
100%. 100%. I'm sorry. Did you have another? Or did you
going?
have
I have three more.
Hit me with one more.
Well, okay. This one's kind of fun. This one's kind of fun. Okay, I went a little too deep down an Instagram rabbit hole, creeping on an ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. So you're following me. This is the guy that I'm seeing.
I'm following you. Yeah, I'm following you.
His ex-girlfriend. I'm all over her Instagram.
I need to know all. I need to know all about her.
I know her. I knew who her sister is, what her current job is. I'm like a private investigator. Comparing her to me, of course, because I'm a completely normal, stable individual. And so I saw that she'd posted a photo with her new boyfriend who looked like he could be my guy's brother. They were so similar looking, it wasn't even funny. And I was like, ooh, that's like some kind of good tea, right? I gotta send this to my sister. So I take a screenshot, I text it to my sister, and then I realized to my horror that I had accidentally texted it to my boyfriend, to him.
Ooh.
I texted him a picture of his ex-girlfriend who I wasn't even supposed to know about with her new boyfriend. Yeah. That was, he took it like a champ.
Have you seen Kelly and her?
Yeah. I think the caption I had with it was, oh my gosh, look at this. Like it was clearly meant for my sister.
Yeah.
And it was, anyway.
Did you tell him like, I meant to send that to my sister?
Oh no, he knew that was not for him. He knew it was not for him. He was like, he was really nice about it, to his credit. If he's the one, he could be listening to this. I don't know. But hey, if you're listening to this.
You seem like a nice guy.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, thank you for not telling me how nuts that was, that I was like digging through your ex's Instagram stuff. I'm not that person anymore. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you 2 drinking stories. Okay. So here's a little tiny backstory. So me having an anxious heart, I never thought about my own values. What am I looking for in a person?
Right.
I never felt like I felt like, I never answered the question like, do I actually like them, or do I just seem to like, do I like the attention that I'm getting? Do I like the feeling of being desired?
Yeah.
I never really thought about what I deserved or what I needed in a relationship. That was so far. I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I need this person to like me. Right. That's what I need in this relationship. So what I came to find out is that I guess I had a personal boundary around drinking. I didn't like excessive drinking. Now, I would have never said that to anyone, but it kept coming up, and I realized this is a me problem. Like I have a problem around like excessive drinking. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
But it came out in destructive ways. It came out in unhealthy ways. Okay. So the first story is I dated this girl. We were an official, but we had gone on like I don't know, we'd gone on 4 or 5 dates, and she drank more than I was comfortable with, but we were in college, like, you know, it's
the culture sometimes.
It's the culture.
Yeah.
And usually we ended up hanging out on the weekends. So it wasn't like she was just getting hammered on a Tuesday. So like it's Saturday and yada, yada. So
seemed very normal back then.
Seemed a little bit normal, but it was still I still didn't like it because you're a different person when you're drunk. You're a different person. And so if I come to hang out with you and Ricky's already sloshed when I get there, and then she's like still drinking, I'm like, I don't really feel like I'm hanging out with you. I feel like I'm hanging out with like drunk Ricky.
Totally.
And so, but I didn't have enough in me to be like, so I don't really like this. Those words
that's a boundary.
Never, like,
you didn't know that. You didn't know
what?
That.
Who could can anyone even say that when you have you know what? I don't like this. Like, no, you'll never say that. So unless you're working towards becoming more healthy.
Unless you're secure, yeah.
I think it's such a healthy thing. And now, like, I don't want to tangent, but it's like, I love when people can just say that. I mean, even now in our established relationships, it's still very hard for us to go to our partners and be like, hey, you know what? I don't like this. Like, can we talk about this?
Even friendships,
and I'm not saying,
I have to say. Yeah. Even friendships,
and I'm not saying that that's
hard.
The best way to say things, but sometimes you just have to say, the way we're doing this, I don't like this.
Yeah.
This isn't working for me. Anyways, so on one occasion, I showed up and she was drunk, and I was like, I ended up kind of just like leaving early. I was just like, you know what? I don't like this. She was hanging out with her friends and stuff. And I was like, we're not really hanging out. You're drunk. Yada, yada. But I kind of like stormed out. I'm like, I'm leaving.
Of course.
She probably didn't even notice. So this is the classic problem with like, when you're not really in touch with your own feelings and needs, like, and you're kind of just like building up resentment, and you're not communicating anything to your partner. You're expecting them to read your mind, or you're taking it out on them with passive aggressiveness. So I kind of stormed off. I'm like, I'm leaving. And, you know, and I sent her some nasty text of like, you know, I was like, you didn't even pay attention to me. I can't even come. Does that make sense? Like, you're not even, whatever. Okay. Long story short.
I'm with you.
Hours go by, because she's, who knows what she's doing, you know, and hours go by. She finally like leaves me a voicemail. I think I must have missed her call, because I probably would have picked up. And the voicemail is super like, I can do whatever I want. Like, you're not my dad. Don't quit trying to control me. I don't think this is going anywhere. I don't think this is working. And she ends it. And now it's at that moment when you're, you know, closer to secure, you're kind of like, well, that sucks. But at the same time, like, this relationship wasn't meant to be. Right. My take on it was, well, no, that's not going to work for me. Now I need to panic and backpedal everything. Like, no, I didn't mean that. So then I'm like blast calling her. I'm leaving voicemails like, I'm so sorry. I wasn't like, no, of course you can do whatever you want. I'm so sorry. Right. I don't mean to control you. Like, of course you felt controlled. That makes so much sense. And I'm really glad that she completely stuck her ground. Like, she's like, please stop calling me. Like,
oh, wow. So it did. Yeah. It ended badly.
She's like, I said it's over. You don't need to call me 13 times.
Well, no, you're right. That's a good thing. It doesn't sound like you guys were a great match anyway.
No, I'll tell you the next drinking story after yours.
Okay, cool. This may finish it up for me too, because we've circled all the way back around to Chris now. But forget that I said that. This is just some guy that I was dating.
Guy. Jack.
Jack. I don't like that name. Let's pick a different one. I decided I'm not.
James.
I was not. Huh?
James.
I haven't dated a James. That works.
Perfect.
So I went on a handful of dates with this guy, and he was totally gorgeous and so funny. And I called him and I said, hey, I've decided that I'm not interested in dating anyone else. And it had only been 2 weeks. And really, if you think about it, that's not like a terrible statement, right? Like, I can tell him that I'm not going to date anyone else. Yeah, but,
and not even expect anything. You can just say, I'm not going to date anyone else.
Right?
I would too, obviously.
That's the deal. Like, I didn't say that. Like,
I'd be like, and?
Yeah. It was like an and. And he was like, hey, thanks. You know, like, he was not there yet, because we didn't know each other at all. That's 2 weeks, I know right now people are heading to the comment section of YouTube where they're going, well, I knew after the first date that was my person. And that's cool for them. But I didn't know. And James he also did not know. We'd been on 5 dates total.
But can I play devil's advocate a little bit? Because come on. Okay. Let's not act like it was so hard for him to say, are we really to believe that he's dating multiple people? He can't say, I'm willing to not date. He was actually dating other people. He
was, yeah.
These guys out there, I'd never dated 2 girls at the same time.
And
it was hard enough for me to ask the first one out.
He definitely was not feeling oh my goodness, this is it. He was still wanting to explore other options for sure. And to be fair,
so interesting.
I intimately knew myself, I'm aware of that girl back then, and I wouldn't have been sold on me either. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. What do you mean you were aware? You knew her? You knew of her?
No, it's me. I know that sounded awkward.
I thought you knew of the other girl he was dating.
I'm talking about old Ricky. Ricky that he met. I know her, right?
I know her, and
I wouldn't have locked it down with her either. Yeah.
For sure. She was unhealed.
She was super unhealed. I was doing and saying things that would have given me.
She was on a healing journey though. She was on.
I was, but it was early in the journey. It was anyway. I was really just trying to lock it down with this gorgeous guy that I met that I was very excited about, but truly didn't know it all.
You should ask him if you could kiss him.
I didn't. Do you want to hear our first kiss story? Should that be the end of that one? What was this? This was the first date. This was our first date, actually. And the date had gone so well. It was amazing. Actually, it was my best first date ever, in case Chris is listening to this. And he said, I started talking about fishing because, of course, that's my because remember what you said about you're mirroring them,
for
right?
Sure.
I was well, I happen to enjoy fishing. I'm a woman who does. And so that's one of the cards I can pull out when I'm really trying to put my best foot forward.
I was fishing the other day. And
right. So I started talking about fishing, and he really, that was exciting for him. And he was man, if you keep going on like that, I'm feeling like I'm probably going to kiss you. And I was yeah. And I was you can if you want to. So they gave him the green light for that.
Oh my gosh.
And that was our first kiss.
That was a sly move.
Was that sly? Was that good? I thought it was very charming.
If you keep going on like that, I'm going to have to kiss you.
Yeah. And I was ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, that can either go really right or really wrong.
He took a risk, and it paid off for sure.
In my situation, I could have gone with that one, and she would have been please don't.
Please don't.
Please ask first. My consent is very important in this matter.
No, I guess he did a pretty good job towing the line between aggressive and respectful, right?
What is worse? You ask a girl, would you mind if I kissed you? And she says, oh, that's okay. Thank you so much. Or what's worse, if you just go in for the kiss, you're well, good night. And she goes,
I don't want that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for dinner.
Yeah, I've had that, and I allowed it to happen, and I was so uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely you did.
So
I would too.
But I've also had a guy say, would it be okay if I kissed you? And I didn't want to make him feel bad, so I said yes, and I was also very uncomfortable.
Interesting.
So there I am scaring all the men. That's hey guys, there's no right answer. I don't know.
You literally never know.
You don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I'm so glad I'm not going on first dates anymore.
But we can say, if you do want to kiss a girl, then it sounds like the odds are you should be assertive.
Ooh, yeah, but like you said,
in a kind way,
too. I see what you're saying.
All I'm saying is that the majority, he gave me
a great out. If you think about it,
hey,
true. If you keep going on like that, I'm feeling like I might have to kiss you. I could have been don't do that, and it still would have been a fun exchange.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it could have been fun. That could have been a good one. I don't know. He's done this before, I think.
Okay, before I tell you my story,
on anyone else.
Well, I don't want to burst your bubble, so I won't tell you.
Okay.
I wrote this down and I forgot to mention it, but I did go on one first date with someone. It was actually our only date. I don't remember why, but I went on our first date and I used a coupon. Can you believe that, Ricky?
Oh no, Jimmy, no. Did she know that you used a coupon?
Yeah, I was like proud of it.
You were proud of it. I'm so frugal. Oh, goodness.
I was like 19 years older.
Wow.
And I remember.
That's not okay, by the way.
I remember being so naive that I literally didn't know that was like a no-no. Like I brought a coupon. I was like, I found a coupon to this place. I was like, can you believe that? And you know what's so funny? Now she could have totally been lying, but she was like totally into it. She was like, oh my gosh, that's a great coupon. She was like, you did a good job. And I was like, good job.
Maybe she was okay with that. I think in general, leave the coupons at home for a date.
100%, 100%. Don't risk it.
But if you bust something like that out and a girl seems really into it, you might have found one that might go the distance. I don't know.
I think sometimes we think about all these like dating rules, but sometimes when people sense your, I don't want to use the word like soul and energy, but like there is like an energy. Like when you meet somebody first time, there's like total like energy.
No,
and sometimes,
I agree.
And sometimes you're just like vibing with this person. And you know what? If they pulled out a coupon, like you literally don't even care. You're like all the rules kind of go out the window. You're like, oh, you shouldn't bring a coupon on a first date. Like demerit for that. You're like, you know what? I couldn't care less. Like this person's cool. I like them.
I love that. Yeah. I think this is a good point for us to make at the end of this episode here. I want to say on my date with Chris.
Oh, I'm not done, Ricky.
Who I'm with. Oh, no, you can keep going.
I'm just kidding.
I want to say on me and Chris's date, our first date, I was really feeling it. Like the rapport was good. Our back and forth was like very snappy and fun. And I was like, I'm going to throw a dirty joke out at this guy. Right? Because I've done that before and it's failed catastrophically. I've had guys be very put off by the dirty jokes. I threw out the best dirty joke I could think of. It came to me.
You're not going to tell us, are you?
I'm absolutely not going to tell us because my mom could be listening to this. I threw out this dirty joke at him and he laughed so hard. And I was like, this is my guy. You know what I mean?
There's nothing better than that feeling.
Yeah, I feel like that was the moment on our date where I was like, I would love to go out with this guy again because I'm having so much fun and he understands me. I can make dirty jokes and it's fine. And yeah.
I love that. So my next drinking story, I dated this one girl and it was a shorter time. It was like 3 or 4 months, but we were official. I mean, we were 100% official. But this goes back to me not understanding that I had certain boundaries. So she was an even bigger drinker than the previous girlfriend.
Oh no! Yeah.
She would drink like almost every night, and then the weekends were like a free for all. Like don't expect me to be sober on the weekends.
Right.
So and then she hid it from me well. It sounds like I'm being naive, but after about a month or so after after we became official, I found out that she was a smoker too. Now,
no.
I don't mean to villainize smokers, but she didn't tell me that she was a smoker. And
it's a deal breaker for a lot of people. It's something that you should not hide. It's a deal breaker for a lot of people.
And here's the most interesting point. It was a deal breaker for me, Ricky, because like I knew that was a deal breaker for me. And what did I do?
You kept seeing her. Of course you did.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
100%. And that's what all the anxious hearts listening have their own stories of where they're like, he or she showed me deal breakers.
Yeah. Red flag,
but once you're emotionally invested or once you're sexual with this person, there is so much that goes on to where you're like, I need to make this relationship work. Or like,
or you justify it.
You make so many justifications. You make so many compromises on your, whatever your non-negotiables were. Those, how quickly can those go out the window? So
fast. Yep.
So long story short, she's drinking like a fish. She's smoking now. And I'm kind of stuck in this same situation where I'm like, I just do not see this relationship going anywhere, but yet I'm not breaking it off. And eventually she cheated on me, and thankfully that was the end of it.
Then catastrophic end anyway. Yeah.
Catastrophic end anyway. I was obviously just devastated, obviously.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
And I still remember kind of like after, because I'm the one that found out somehow. I don't want to like go into it, but like somehow her phone blinked and it was like some guy saying how much he loves her or something. And I was like, is that your brother? I was like, is Jeff your brother?
He seems to really care about you a lot. I want to let you know that even though I haven't touched on the devastation that I felt after every single one of those breakups, I was absolutely like crying in the shower, like on the phone with my mom and sister for months after every one of these, even though they were clearly not good partners for me. And sometimes I wasn't even into it. Every one of them was devastating. Every one of them.
Yeah. I think that's, and so when I look back, it was such a pattern of just like, I'm not able to say this relationship isn't working for me. I'm not able to say, this is what type of person I'm looking for. This is what I'm okay with. This is what I'm not okay with. I just wasn't capable of that at that. And it really, really hurts you. I mean, there's so much. I mean, I could spend another hour giving any advice to like if somehow someone was listening that was just entering the dating world and they were like, I'm open to, learning about all this stuff. Like, there's obviously so much that we could tell them, but I mean, one of the things is just to you got to know yourself. You got to know what you're okay with. You got to know what you want. You got to know what you deserve, which is really, really hard when you when you have grown up with potentially critical or neglectful parents. You don't really know what you deserve. And sometimes you have a false narrative in your head. You don't even realize the subconscious thoughts that you think about yourself. You don't even know where your self-worth is, all that stuff. You gotta lock that stuff down. It's not to say that you're not going to struggle. We're all going to, everyone's going to still struggle doing this, but you'll feel so much more in control. You'll feel so much more powerful. Like, you don't have to stay in situationships. You don't have to get, you can put off being sexual, because you like how it affects you. And, your mic is, all right. It looks like Ricky's computer died. So we're just going to go ahead and, end it right there. I hope you enjoyed our episode. I hope you got something out of it. I hope that somehow it made you laugh, made you think about your own relationships, and we'll see you in the next one.